everybody. Welcome back to the 2021 St. Clair River Classic. I'm joined today with Allie Papp and Nick Smith. My name's Brian Kowalski. We'd like to welcome you back. We apologize for the technical difficulties. We're not quite ESPN yet, but we're getting close. ESPN is so dated. I dated myself. I can't believe that. But we'd like to welcome you back. Viewership will be going back up here shortly. We're taking out, and I stand corrected, we've got our next race is our super stock race. Say that one 3 times fast. And then we'll have a little break in the action, and then our final race a little bit later on. So welcome back, guys. Hope you had a chance to visit the Midway and get a good bite to eat. I know the food here at the Voyager is pretty awesome.
It's off the chain, man.
It was great.
It was great, she said.
So, Allie, why don't we, while we got the boats coming out on the course, why don't we run through the super stock entries?
Yes, so our super stocks today are going to be running 10 laps. We have, so each of the numbers have the number S in front of them for their class. So we have S8, CR Racing, S17, Allen Lawn Care, S19, FJ Propeller, S21, Performance Boat Center, S27, LPC, S42, Jackhammer, S54, CMR, and S111, Canada Construction.
In Canada Construction, that's Ryan Beckley, Double Edge Motorsports usually, but today he's got a sponsor, Canada Construction.
Oh, I was thinking there was some kind of under-the-border crossing there or something.
If there was, we are not allowed to talk about it.
That's correct. So, looks
But,
like this one's going to be a good race, guys.
This is going to be good. How many laps are they running today, Allie?
10.
10 laps today.
Yep.
So you're going to see something pretty interesting here. Right now, we have a situation developing where the wind is now picking up out of the north, blowing straight down the river.
Yep.
Now, when Superstock takes the green flag today, they're going to be starting heading north. Okay, so they're going to be into the wind. Now, when you turn a catamaran into the wind, as we were describing earlier, it helps the tunnel pack air. And I think you're going to see a really fast race course today from these cat outboards.
Right. Now, from my understanding, these guys have no speed restrictions, right? It's kind of let her eat and go, huh?
It's a full-blown spec class race, man. It's wide open throttle from start to finish.
A lot of seasoned veterans in this class. I know I was speaking with Gary Ballou the other day, and Gary has raced all over the world. Dubai, you name it. He's
Class
pretty
1
much
X
been
Cat
there.
Series
Yeah.
champion. Yeah, Gary's about as seasoned as they come.
And so particular. The man, a speck of dust on his boat, he can't handle it.
No.
He'll wash the whole thing.
But I'll tell you, today's field is going to be full of just killers. Okay, you got Gary Ballou, who's been in this for a very long time, just like Ryan Beckley or any of these guys have been in these boats or around these boats for a very long time. But you have a newcomer last year in STR Racing, and that's Sean Torrente. And Sean Torrente comes from a background of F1, X-Cat, tunnel boats, stuff like that, where he's a bit different schooled than the offshore guys. Whereas, offshore is kind of like you have your world beaters. Like Gary Ballou was the guy for a very long time in that class. Whereas Torrente comes from a field that was, I don't want to say, night and day, but very, very, very competitive. I mean, beyond what the offshore series sees, because those little boats are so dialed in. The F1 tunnel boats that we saw in Lake of the Ozarks, he ran those over in Dubai, and those are extremely tight together. They all run very, very identical packages. There's very minimal room for advantages. So it really comes down to driver skill.
Yep. It's funny, you brought up Sean. MTI, fantastic company, great boat builder. I had the pleasure of watching them come into town on Wednesday or Thursday, and they rolled in with this beautiful semi with towing the boat, and then a brand new Featherlight NASCAR style hauler that 3/4 of the team members seen for the first time when they got in town, followed by a brand new Corvette and a little, what are those little cars? Coopers?
Yeah, Mini Cooper.
All wrapped to look the same. Everything looks the same. They got matching shoes. I got to tell you, there's some serious cash into this sport.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that that they're all sponsored and everything's paid for all the time. That's not the case,
No.
from my
Not
understanding.
necessarily, no.
No, and in that case there, that's a 450 ROS boat. That's a new class that we developed this year. It's a 39-foot MTI with twin 450Rs, and it's a developing class. There's a few more manufacturers that are getting their horse in the race with that. Doug Wright, Skater. And I think you're going to see by year's end 3 or 4 of those boats running together against Taylor.
That's going to be great. And speaking of Taylor, another young lady in the sport, yes?
Uh-huh.
Tell us, have you had a chance to talk to Taylor?
I have actually not
I don't
met
want to cut
Taylor
you guys
yet.
off, but we're getting another really fast start here. We're trying to beat the weather, folks.
Yep.
And it looks like the pace boat is up on a yellow flag. The super stocks are moving into position. It looks like the jackhammer entry got maybe caught off guard there. They're down just behind LPC and Allen's Lawn Care. I don't see them getting on plane. But right now you have a lineup: LPC, Billy Allen and Allen's Lawn Care. You got Canada Construction and CR Racing taking the green flag. I don't see the other boats yet in our frame, but I'm sure they're there. And here's what I was talking about, Brian. I believe we have a green flag, and look at these boats pack air. Look as they gain speed going up the front stretch. They're going to get really light and flighty.
Yeah, you look at that and you go, oh my gosh, there's like only a couple inches of that
And they're
30-foot boat in the water.
Yeah, and there's CMR Racing, and Sean Torrente's right out in the lead. His boat's going to be one to watch out for today. It's going to be lightning fast in this flat water, but he's not far ahead of Performance Boat Center with their Fast Fuels Super Stock entry, pulling up in second place there on their way down to turn 1.
It looks like we only see 4 of the entries out, and we have...
Nope, there's more there, Allie.
Oh.
They would just
I see them.
See as they pan there. It's just I
There's
guess
so
the
many
angle we
of
were
them.
on.
You
There's a
can't
lot of
see
them.
all of them.
8 of them today, I
8
believe.
of them.
Now we're going to have the cameras fixed on these turns here because they're the only class on the course right now. As we go into turn 1, it looks like CR Racing in first.
Yes, that is S8, CR Racing.
As they come through the turn, it looks pretty uncontested there. I don't see anyone in his rooster tail. Nope, and he's followed in second place by Sean Torrente. In third place, Performance Boat Center Fast Fuels.
Notice how that rooster tail starts to lay down as they pick up speed. That's them getting the boat trimmed out, I guess you'd say, right?
You actually trim back in, Brian.
Back in.
Yeah, so what happens is you trim up for acceleration to lift the boat and get it out of the water and help it gain its speed. And then as it gets to its speed, you want to reestablish the attitude. So right there, as you see CR Racing going down the backstretch with a perfect shot up against the land, you can see how the rooster tail is no higher than the canopy. And that's indicative of a boat that's trimmed and balanced correctly. That boat's probably running somewhere around 115 miles an hour right now, and it looks perfect doing it.
Well, I tell you, that's pretty impressive.
And now we have a position change. It looks like Sean Torrente had an issue on the backstretch, and LPC has taken over second place with Allen's Lawn Care in third. As we get to the lead pack here, coming out of turn 4.
On screen right now, we see FJ behind S11, Canada Construction.
There we go.
S111.
LPC and Performance are battling for second. I don't see Sean Torrente anymore, folks. He must have had an issue on the backstretch.
We still have CR Racing out in front in our Superstock class.
And as that boat comes by the start-finish boat, you can really see. Look at this shot here with Performance Boat Center and LPC. Those boats are pretty identical, and you can see it there in the setup. They're packing air perfect. They're perfectly trimmed. They're on their top number. And it's going to be good to see as this race unfolds who comes into their setup and who runs out of setup.
Canada Construction on our screen right now, followed closely behind by FJ Propeller.
So I misspoke earlier. We were talking about Taylor with MTI. They're actually coming up in our next race.
Yes, sir.
I was like, I got to think about that. I said, oh, that was the wrong team.
It's all right.
It's okay.
We'll give you that one, Brian.
All right.
But as we see FJ Propeller there in the back, that's not a lone victory entry, but the lone one running on the course right now is Jackhammer's down in the south end. And S8 CR Racing continuing to establish a lead in Superstock here coming onto the second lap. See how that rooster tail's up, Brian?
Yep.
And as it starts to drop, that's what we were talking about earlier. That boat is obviously set up perfect for the day.
Such a winning combination. You know, these guys, not only from a financial investment, the time and the training and the running, I would assume these guys are testing all the time when they're not racing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's nonstop work, and especially for Casey Boaz there in CR Racing. He's the new owner of Herring Propeller, I believe. And so he knows his stuff, man. He goes back to work and finds every bit of speed he can in that boat. And there's LPC, I believe, still running in second place. No, actually, he's running third place.
Performance took over second place.
Yeah, they got a pretty good stretch on LPC now going down the backstretch, but about the same between him and CR. So that might say that there's an issue in LPC.
You can see the water definitely calm down, more like our first race, and not as crazy as our second race was. So that's definitely a game changer for the boats out on the course.
As we watch Canada Construction making their way down the backstretch, heading into turn 3, we're going to shift over here and show you the leaders coming out of turn 4. And it's still S8 CR Racing, followed by Performance Fast Fuels Boat Center.
That's just an amazing shot there, looking at the S8 boat coming up through there. It's just walking right along.
Yeah, and you can see it here in Performance as well. These boats are now running straight into the wind. They're packing air. They're running against the current. But look how fast those boats are on just 600 horsepower. It's unbelievable.
It looks like Performance Boat Center has gained a very great lead over third place LPC with Canada Construction behind them. So we don't know. Maybe something happened down in that bottom turn. They've gained quite a lead.
From what we can see sitting here, the boat looks like it seems to be under full power.
Yeah.
But they might be having some sort of electrical issue or something of the sort that's taking them out intermittently.
FJ Propeller coming on the outside of Canada Construction.
Now the guys are making their way down into turn 1 here. And this is going to be interesting to see as the race goes on. You have a pretty tight group. They look spread out, but it's not when they're covering the amount of distance they are in the short amounts of time.
Sure.
And it'll be interesting to see who's on big propellers, who's on small propellers, who's losing weight and gaining speed. It's going to be interesting.
Now, you know, we talked earlier, some boats have ballast systems. And do these boats have that type of system in them, or is it not necessarily used?
I do believe they do, but I'm not 100% sure, Brad. It's possible.
Because it seems like the longer they race, the faster they get. And I know that's from shedding fuel as well, because that's
the lighter
serious
the
amount of
boat
weight. Yep.
gets.
And it's actually less about the weight that it's losing and more about where it's losing it from.
Right.
So in most situations, the gas tank is mounted pretty close to the center of gravity on the boat, which is basically, if you guys understand this at home, it's like balancing a pencil on your finger. We try to mount the gas tank on top of the balance point. That way, as the race goes on, the attitude of the boat doesn't change.
Right.
But oftentimes it does, and it actually moves the CG a little bit further back. And as the boat's lighter, it can carry itself in the water a bit more and achieve some higher speeds.
We have Canada Construction in our shot right now.
And that's S111. We were talking earlier about seasoned veterans. That's Ryan Beckley in that boat has been to just about every offshore powerboat race ever produced for the last 50 years. We were sitting in the registration room the other day, and he was telling us facts about the freighters on the wall. That's how much that guy knows about boats.
Now, he does a lot of the wraps for these guys, doesn't he? I
Yes.
believe that's his business.
Yeah, it's Kinetic Animations down in Sarasota, Florida, I believe. And Ryan does an amazing job wrapping 90% of these boats on the course. And if you notice, not many of them lose their wrap jobs.
That's a good thing when you're going 150 miles an hour.
Ryan is unbelievable.
Our Super Stocks just finished their third lap. They're now working their fourth lap.
So I see Allie's over here with a score sheet, just like our chief scorer uses out on the start finish, and she's checking off laps. How do you guys keep track of how many laps you're on the course? I heard it's It's a pretty simple process, but I'll let you explain it.
It's pretty simple, but when there's a lot of boats out on the course, it gets pretty challenging. This is not as bad because there's only one class, so it's not as confusing. But basically, every time a boat passes the start finish, you just write which position they're in each lap. And so, opposed to just doing the finishing order in case you need a restart or when the GPS comes into effect, things like that. So we record places on every single lap, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, so that's from the land side of it. Nick, how about the water side? I mean, there's like, let's say on the days you and your dad are racing in the fountain, how do you?
Well, I can tell you right now from S8 CR Racing, as you watch them come down the backstretch, those guys right now are trying to push their feet through the footrests. They're pulling the steering wheel out of the dashboard, pushing the throttles down through the bottom of the boat. The last thing they're thinking about is what lap they're on. And all we have is a pretty antiquated system of a bunch of duct tape cut into strips on the dashboard that has 1 through 10 on it.
Holy cow.
And there ain't no way you're going to remember to pull those tapes. If they say they do, they're lying to you.
So it's just simple as that, pieces of duct tape.
That's it, man. And in a lot of instances here in this race today, a lot of these boats have ship-to-shore communications. So Casey and CR there right now on screen is probably having information relayed to him from his crew chief somewhere, telling him where everybody is in reference to him on the race course and what lap he's on and how many he has left.
Kind of like spotters in NASCAR.
Very, very similar. And right now, I think I'm seeing I haven't heard
Looks
anything
like
through my headset, but it looked like a boat upside down.
It almost is a pretty
Just past the
multicolored boat there.
I don't know if the guys in the booth can get a shot of that. I think there's a boat upside down just past the south turn.
Yeah, and to turn 3 and 4.
Well, I'm looking out at the.
Yep, we still have
Start
Performance
finish.
Boat Center.
There we go. Oh, they had it.
Yep.
I don't see a caution out on the start-finish boat.
We see I see one of our teams pulling to the inside of the course, which is standard procedure.
There it is.
And there it is. It looks like
If we can stay on that shot for
Looks
a second.
like Alan Lawn Care,
Team
maybe?
Allen Lawn Care.
It does look like Team Allen Lawn Care, and that's a real bummer. I hope to get more information as the situation unfolds. Now, we're in a unique situation here where our safety assets are deployed. They're down there working with the team, recovering the boat, making sure everybody is safe. But usually in this instance, the race would stop. In this instance, it's not, because we have a particular situation in St. Clair where the current carries these incidents past the race course, so it has no danger whatsoever to the boats competing. And it doesn't hinder our safety assets.
Yeah, we have to give a big shout out to our safety folks. You know, it's just amazing the job that they do and how well they do it.
I do believe I can see the participants standing in the medical boat there, and I believe they're trying to get it flipped back over upright to tow it back into the river here. I'm just waiting on an update. Can you find out if everyone else is okay? And they are coming into the picture is CR Racing, still completing hot laps.
I did see Team LPC off screen pull off the course. Performance coming through the bottom of that shot.
There's a shot there of our safety crews working to flip that boat back over. But we're going to get back to the action on the course as it's still underway. We have S8 CR Racing leading the dance, and Performance Boat Center Fast Fuel's chasing them down right now. It doesn't look like there's much of a difference there in the lead distance, which means to me that there's not much of the setup coming into play.
No, it seems that everybody's setups are staying pretty Consistent.
Yeah, and we did just get word that both participants in Allen's Lawn Care are safe and okay on the safety boats.
It's always
That's
great to
good,
hear.
yep.
Coming out of turn 2 there was CR Racing, and here's S111 Canada Construction.
They are coming up past the start-finish boat on the front stretch.
And that skater is just running absolutely beautifully. It carries such a nice attitude in the water, and when that boat really shines is in that 2 to 4 foot chop we see at some race sites we go to. Ryan just loves getting that water thrown at him.
Team FJ Propeller behind them. I believe that's for 4th place. Yep. So right now our standings are CR Racing, Performance Boat Center, Canada Construction, and FJ Propeller.
And again, there was a lot more entries here. We have Allen's Lawn Care upside down in turns 3 and 4. Again, all participants there are safe and okay. And we also had Sean Torrente drop off early. LPC have a mechanical issue and come off the course, as well as Jackhammer broke at the start, I believe. So it's dwindled down, but we still have a race on our hands, folks. Myra Coyle in Performance and Rusty, they really run hard, and I don't think they're going to give CR a break. If CR seems to trail off or fall asleep, they're going to have an issue.
Mm-hmm. The race is not over until they've completed all 10 laps.
So
You never know what could happen.
Attrition plays a toll in racing as well. The more the laps, the more they seem to dwindle down from time to time.
Yeah, now these Mercury outboards that they're running on these boats are pretty reliable packages. In a pleasure setting, they're 1,000-hour motors. Granted, what we do with them here is a bit more strenuous, but they're pretty reliable, and they push these boats really well. As you see Performance Fast Fuels come by here, they are just running flawlessly. The difference between them and CR Racing, which might look like a pretty sizable gap, is really probably only a mile an hour or two.
Mm-hmm. We see, I think, the Performance on our screen, and Canada Construction now.
Making his way through the south turn, which seems pretty flat from just a half hour ago. We had a squall come through, which really picked up the water in just a matter of 15, 20 minutes. It looks pretty flat now.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, how that turn down there can be affected so many different ways by weather.
Team CR Racing.
And there's a beautiful shot of them accelerating out of the turn with the rooster tail up. You know they're trimming, trying to find the speed. As they get to their speed, you see them tuck those motors back down a little bit and get the attitude right in the boat, and they're just running flawless. I mean, lap after lap, they are just putting distance on second place, but that's not to knock Performance Boat Center. If Performance Boat Center enters the frame next, it's just an unbelievable setup class where there's not much more you can do than pick the right propeller, put the right amount of fuel in it, and move some weight around. So you're looking at boats here that are very technically close. And the only thing that separates them is driver and throttleman skill and a couple of lead bags that they move around the boat to make it run on different center lines. And what you're seeing here is just a master class by CR Racing and Performance Boat Center. Performance Boat Center based out of Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri. And if you talk to anyone from the lake out there, their staff and their crew is beyond reputable. They put the time in. They really don't cut any corners. And they're running flawlessly in second place today.
A few years back, I visited their facility over there, and it was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, they don't spare any expenses.
Yeah, they say it's like you could eat off the floor over there.
It's beautiful.
But you don't have to, because they have plenty of establishments there to get food and beverage.
Oh, I know.
There you go.
That's a fun place to go to, Lake of the Ozark, I tell you.
That's an amazing place, man. And in my opinion, it's horsepower central.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
You know, I was talking to Tyler Crockett, local guy here. He's headed down there to try and set a world speed record.
Yep. I believe in his 26-foot Joker.
Yep.
He's a madman.
Crazy.
There's
But we love him.
S111 Canada Homes coming down the backstretch as we have S42 Jackhammer idling past us here at the live stream booth. Their day ended really prematurely, and it's a bummer for them as those guys always run hard and competitive in this class.
And it's a cool boat name.
That's such a cool boat.
Yeah,
I'm
it
telling
is.
you.
And I think that name seems to change race by race. I've heard some sledgehammer, hammerheads,
Right.
but it is in fact jackhammer.
It is.
If it's got a hammer in it, it's there.
And here's FJ Propeller coming down the backstretch. Gary Ballou really doing everything he can to find some speed in that boat today. It seems like he might have picked the wrong prop as he comes through the south turn with S111 Canada Homes leading the way, or Canada Construction, sorry about that. And the one thing you'll really notice about FJ Propeller is the hull design, as well as the way the deck's designed. It really looks like an airplane wing. Those Victories have a lot of R&D into aerodynamics, and you really see it in the X-Cat series.
Really?
Those boats are incredibly fast overseas.
I can only imagine the amount of engineering that goes into design a boat, like you're going through, Allie. You know, completely modifying a boat. I'm sure you have so much thought going in that.
Yeah, definitely racing a different boat for 5 seasons. You know what works and what doesn't work, and designing around what you've learned over the years definitely helps.
Excellent.
We have CR Racing coming through the turn, still in first place.
And you can see there, they're taking a very conservative line through that turn, not
Yep.
making any mistakes. Again, Rooster Tail accelerating to speed. You'll see it drop here shortly and just kind of pick up a perfect attitude. When I say this is a master class, ladies and gentlemen, this is a master class. They are really out here putting on one of the best runs of the day.
What do they call that? Checked out, I think it is.
That is
Oh,
checked
yes.
out, man.
It's a beautiful boat.
It is pretty.
Coming behind them in second is still Performance Boat Center.
And there's just something about that S21 boat. It is one of the sleekest, prettiest race boats on the course.
You know,
Agreed.
10 years ago, when I seen these out, I used to always think, God, I don't like them. They sound like a weed whacker. It's one of my favorite classes now because it's become so competitive, and there's so many boats in it. It seems like the last couple of years it's really exploded.
It's
Well-
really taken off.
And the truth of the matter is, with this class, today they took the field. They took the course with what, 8 boats, 10
Yes.
boats, 8
Yep.
boats.
8.
And now out of those 8 boats, there's 8 front runners. That class is a revolving door. Sean Torrente's been leading the charge in the flatwater races. He seemed to have found some speed in the bottom of his, and the way the tunnel compression's done in his is a little different from some of the older boats. But it's anybody's day, as you see out here today. Right now, CR Racing dominating the dance. You got S8 CR Racing still in first. You got Performance Boat Center in second, Canada Construction in third, and FJ Propellers in fourth. And as I rattle off those names, you have a most recent world champion in Ryan Beckley, who won in Inglewood 2 years ago before COVID, who was a world champion. You have CR Racing, who's no stranger to the podium. Gary Ballou, obviously, his name rings bells. And Myra Coyle and the guys at Performance Boat Center, they're no stranger to the podium. I mean, this is what I mean when I say it's anybody's day.
Yeah, you know, you look at this, 8 different boats, 8 different teams, 6 different manufacturers that we're dealing with here. Doug Wright Victory, Wright Performance, Blade, not one I'm super familiar with.
Today, I'm not 100% sure about that one, Brian. Today, you have pretty much a field of Doug Wrights. You have Jackhammer and FJ Propeller are the 2 victories in the class, and Ryan Beckley with the Skater.
Okay, must be a typo on my sheet here. It said it's a Blade. I'm like, okay. But I know there used to be a Dragon that used to run.
Yes.
What was the gentleman's name? Vinny? No. Oh, I can't remember. Cool boat. Very cool looking boat.
There's been lots of designs in this class over the years, going back to like Deep V Cats. There's been a lot of interesting innovation. And this kind of has become ground zero for the innovation as Mercury tests a lot of their race engines in these classes, and companies like Doug Wright and Victory and Skater have been constantly throwing their hat in the ring with new molds and new builds. It's really an interesting class to see them all come together.
Absolutely.
As we have S111 Canada Construction coming down the backstretch. There's a boat that I believe was built in 2006. It's Gator Powerboat.
It's an older one, yeah.
One of the older boats in the field. Still very competitive, running in third place today.
Yeah, it's kind of like you said, the technology's all there, and the hulls may be a little older, but it gets down to that driver and throttlement and prop chain.
Yeah,
prop
absolutely.
decisions.
And that's really present in every class, even all the way down to like class 5, 6, 7. It's, you know, it really is less about the boat and more about the team. You're going to see later in the day today Miss Geico take the course, which is probably the most technologically advanced catamaran ever built. There's been more hours put into that victory than any other boat I know of. That is Steve Curtis's and Gary Stray's baby prior to it being Geico.
Right.
And once it became Geico and they had the funding to do so, they continued to innovate on that boat. So there's in a situation where you combine technology with the experience of a guy like Steve Curtis.
Right.
And then they have a rotating stable of drivers between Britt Lilly, Travis Pastrana, and Miles Jennings drove it in 2019, another accomplished racer from overseas, where it's an extremely hard to beat boat to beat when you apply the technology to the skill in that canopy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that coming up. But, back to this race here, these guys, it amazes me what you can do with what Mercury does and the other engine manufacturers that are out there. But it's pretty much standard across the board that it's Mercury.
Yeah. And right now, actually coming past the live stream booth, pending approval from race control, is CMR Roofing. Sean Torrente must have fixed his gremlin, and he's trying to get back on the course. We will let you know as soon as he does gain entry.
Yeah, the hatch is still up, so.
Yeah, it seems that it won't get on plane. Their gremlins continue to harass them as S8CR Racing goes by the start-finish line still in first, with Performance Boat Center Fast Fuels in second. And it looks like Canada Construction still in third, coming down the backstretch as they complete their final lap of the day.
Yes. We see the checkered flag waving. CR Racing is pulled off, and Performance Boat Center just got waved in too. So that's unofficial first and second place for stock, for super stock. It's been a long day. Still on the course is Canada Construction and FJ Propeller for our third and fourth place boats.
And here you'll see S111's entry into the south turn. And you can see as that boat kind of dances side to side that it's getting aired out and finding all of its speed. Pull off just a tiny bit, set the boat over into the corner, and you'll see here as they push that boat through, they're wide open now, picking a line, running it off the corner. You'll see the tail come up, accelerate back to speed. As the tail comes down and it packs air, they'll be pushing hard to the finish. And good day for S111 Canada Construction.
War water and
And just behind S111 Canada Construction, you should see FJ Propeller entering the fold there into turn 3 as they come across the finish line to claim their third place for today. Now again, Allie, these results are unofficial as well, not for the reasoning of having to read a GPS, but they do have to pass tech inspection after the race and be sure that they have the correct computers and they weigh the right weights, right?
Yep. So every result you see here is unofficial, and it may change, it may not. It all depends.
Yeah, and now these are subject to the same thing as like Pro Stock and Modified V does in the beginning of the day. They all have to go back to the crane and get weighed out.
Yep. And we have all of our boats have completed the race.
So, while we're waiting for the guys up in the booth, we have to acknowledge some sponsors, and they're going to queue up some stuff from Sensation, Foster Oil, and Murphy Inn for us. I have to tell you, Rivers Bend Marina, phenomenal group over there. Such a huge supporter of the sport. Has won multiple awards for not just winning races, but for like sportsmanship, and the Unsung Hero Award he's won. our hats go off to the folks over there. It's Ed Smith and Julie Kimmel.
And your timing couldn't be better, Brian, as they're going to make their way out on the course in the next race.
I'm telling you. And then, another local business we got to talk about is Water Brewery. Another one of our sponsors sponsored us being here today on the live stream. Chris Paul, a pillar in the community, sits on, I think, every council and every board that there is in this town, and produces a great event. I know they produced a lot of cans last night for the returnables section.
I thought the same thing. I went there for dinner last night. It was very good.
Was it?
Yes.
I heard they served a 32-ounce can beer there. That's got to be like a torpedo.
You know what the coolest thing about it is? They pour the beer in it and seal the top on it right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can't get much fresher than that. So as soon as our crew comes up with our Sensation and Foster and Murphy stuff, looks like they got it. We'll be back in just a few, and thanks for joining us.
Here at Sensation, we are proud to offer a 3-model line. The 32 CCX, 34 CCX, and 40 CCX. Our 32 CCX is packed with features found on the larger model, in addition to its best-in-class performance. The handling is unlike anything you've driven at this size. Our 34 CCX has proven to be a showstopper at any time. This CCX has an expanded cabin, third engine option, and a foot wider beam than the 32. Our largest CCX to date, the 40, comes standard with second row seating, dive door, bow thruster, and an optional fourth engine. Follow our Facebook and Instagram pages to see all the boats coming out of Algonac, Michigan. Trust me.
Well, they've got drink specials every day. Rooms upstairs if you want to stay. If you love music, hear it play at the good old Murphy Inn. At the good old Murphy Inn.
Looking for a great spot to enjoy lunch or dinner with fantastic daily food and happy hour specials? Look no further than the Murphy Inn in St. Clair. This is Paul, owner of the Murphy Inn. Our charming Irish pub features different food and drink specials every day of the week, plus live entertainment every Wednesday through Saturday. The inn even offers 7 unique hotel rooms complete with modern amenities, perfect for overnight stays or a weekend getaway.
There ain't no doubt we're going out to the good old Murphy Inn. To the good old Murphy Inn.
Welcome back to the 2021 St. Clair River Classic. I am joined with Allie and Nick again. We are having a wonderful day out here, folks. We wish you all were here, but we thank you for tuning in as you all are. We are set here to get ready for our later race. We're fortunate enough right now that we have Nate Hunt joining us from the Predator boat. Nate, welcome and thanks for stopping in.
Yeah, no problem. Great racing out there today.
So how was it?
It was cool. It was really fun. My first time racing here, so I went to school actually, and learning these currents and stuff was incredible. It was a whole different type of racing for me. You know, I'm used to running offshore races and big waves and everything else.
Yeah.
And man, you get in the corners here, and the boats have made a couple laps. It's like a washing machine. You climb through that corner, and it is so mixed up water, and the boat wants to loft, and while you're in the middle of a turn doing 80 miles an hour, it's a little tricky. So on this end, it's really, really nasty, and you get into the corner and you make the corner hard side, and the next thing it feels like they hit the NOS button. took off. Woof.
So going on the north end, you think he needed the NOS button. On the south end, you're when Jim Black was in there helping you play through the turn.
Exactly, man. You're hanging on for dear life down there, throwing you up all over the place, and it's crazy.
Well,
Now, Nate, I just want to jump in and ask you a couple questions. Right there at the beginning of the race, it looked like you and Old School had one held right from green flag.
Yeah, Matt Soperline. We're good buddies. He's a good friend, and we play all the time, and we all show and get out there. But believe me, when we go out there and race, we race.
Absolutely. Now, what happened going into the first turn? It looked like he had a really tight battle going on. Through the first lap, it looked like he had maybe a boat length or two on you. And then in one turn, it seemed like you put maybe 10, 15 boat lengths on him. Did you just nail something there, or did something go wrong?
No, I think something happened to him. He came in early a little bit, so I think something happened to him. We were running real good there for a while, and then all of a sudden he slowed down. So I'm thinking he hurt it or something happened.
Well, kudos to you, Nate. You really put that thing up on the pins today, and you really made that thing shine. You and Dean Solomon have been having an unbelievable year. How's it feel to be the unofficial first place Class 4 winner in St. Clair River Classic?
Feels great, and we love this place, man. We're new fans, and we'll be back. You don't have to worry about that. We'll be back, maybe even with 2 boats. So we'll see how it goes. Dean and I have projects working at this point, and it's much fun and how great this production has been and easy. That's the cool thing. We always like coming to races where everything flows nice and easy, and the people are so cool. And right now, this place takes the cake for the year. It's it.
I might have to get a bigger row to put all these boats on.
Well, and I think we're going to have to get some bigger hats for the Blue Water folks as their head swells
I'm
throughout the
liking
day.
it, man. I tell you, thanks, Nate.
I definitely have had a great time already. My crew and everybody have had wonderful time. St. Clair Inn's been killer to us, supplying us with ice every day and all the good stuff we need and great views. And you setting us all up in the pits right in front of them. That was, hey, couldn't ask for anything better.
Awesome.
And Boomer, always pleasure. Commentation here. Psh, my kids that are home.
They're enjoying it. That's good.
That's proud Papa, man.
Yeah.
You did a great job, Nate. We're so proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, buddy.
Appreciate
See you at
it.
the awards.
Yeah, we will see
Be
you
there.
tonight.
Take care, guys.
Yep.
It's time to clean the boat up.
You know,
Love you, brother. Thank you.
you know, you look at that, and Nate's a pretty humble guy. Over the last 3 days talking to him, you can see the emotion when he talks about his family because he's so far away. How is it contending with your family like that when you're gone so much? You know what I mean? You're miles away, and I know FaceTime and stuff like that, but it's not texto. It's not hugging your kids or tucking them to bed.
You know where the emotion comes from, I think, Brian, is when we say that there's a lot of passion in this sport, there's a lot of passion in this sport. And it's a full team effort. Like, I know for a fact that Nate's kids are with him every day, helping him fix the boat, clean
Sure.
the boat. And, Nate's only a few months removed from his own bout with cancer.
Yeah.
And just like Ed and Knuckleheads. And to see Nate out here doing what he did today, I could only imagine the pride he feels and how his family must feel and how proud of him they are. To see him out here, he fought the real fight.
Sure.
And now he's out here fighting the fight in Class 4 and getting it done.
And sometimes I think getting out, like everything he's gone through over the past couple months, sometimes I think getting out and doing something you love helps that healing process more than any other drug or anything else. The only other thing more powerful than that is probably prayer. And I'm just so proud for him today and so happy for him because I'm going to tell you, he's been bouncing off the wall the last 3 days ready for this.
You don't know how right you are, Brian. I mean, look at Evil Ed and Knucklehead.
Sure.
If it wasn't for that race boat, man, that's all he talked about. Every time I talk to him, man, I'm going to be good by Cocoa Beach. And I go, I know you are. And I did know he would be because he's a wild man and there's no way he's going to miss a boat race.
So Ed pulls into town the other day, and I look at his pit crew, and I'm like, wow, his pit crew's changed. Who's this tall guy? Tim Lolito used to play for the Lions, played for the New Orleans Saints for a while, lives up this way. I said, well, Tim, when did you start working with Ed? He says, working with Ed. He said, I work for Ed. I said, what? He goes, he's been battling the battle I'm working down at the marina and doing everything I can, all the heavy lifting I can do. He says, I said, well, how'd you get drafted into washing the boat today? He goes, because I can reach taller than he can. So it's just cool to see
a
the
stellar
support that
recruitment.
everybody gets.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yep.
And Brian, as we're chit chatting here, the boats for the fourth and final race of the day are making their way out on the course.
Yeah.
And right there is that victory, Miss Geico, that we were speaking about earlier. And unfortunately, due to COVID, a lot of the overseas teams weren't able to commit to the 2021 season. So
Right.
we're missing Triple Two, we're missing Victory, and we do miss them in a big way. They are so much fun to watch run against Miss Geico here in the States. And you're getting a look at what I describe as the most technologically advanced catamaran in history.
Yeah, they have done. You look at the transition of this boat over the last, I'm going to say 10, 12 years. You know, it went from 50-foot turbines to sealed motors to what they're running today, or unlimited motors to sealed motors, what they're running today. I know Mercury actually developed a motor specifically for this class, from what I understand.
That's right. And this boat specifically has always competed in what is called Class 1 overseas, and what we now know as Class 1 here in the States. So it's always run these motors. And as the shot here, that's Knuckleheads. That's Ed Smith from Riversbend Marine.
Yep. Go hometown.
Go hometown, man. And that's in the boat with him is Anthony's brother, who took check in the number 3 Pro Stock boat. They're also running uncontested today.
Yeah. There's a lot of history in that boat, too. I believe that used to be Peter Meyer's old boat, the Instigator.
That boat has won a multitude of championships across a lot of platforms. And we'll see if it holds up to his name today.
Oh, it's cool looking.
And there's MCon from all the way from Lake of the Ozarks, unfortunately running uncontested in Super. Don't know where the rest of the boys are. And just out of the shot we just had, there's that boat, Elliot Gray, and I believe T-Man.
If you haven't got a picture of that boat at any site that you've ever been, you need to. That is all paint on that boat. It's not a wrap. It's truly amazing, that one. Elliot's running in Class 2 today with the Team Woody and Strictly Business is running Class 2.
Oh, okay, so that's a good battle there.
That's going to be a fun one to watch.
In the business returning is Luigi Contieri and Johnny Stant. Johnny Stanch has been running offshore boats as long as I've been alive, and double that.
Oh, yeah.
and Louis is one of the fiercest competitors in the sport.
Great shot of SV Racing. I gotta give these guys props. When they pull into town, it's a sight to behold. Here they travel with cars and all kinds of stuff.
And if in the booth are listening, we seem to have lost Allie's mic.
Oh no! I can hear you, but I can't hear you here.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. Cool.
And yeah, I mean we gotta give to that Sweetwater SV Racing. They flipped over in Cocoa Beach and unfortunately wound up on the beach. They had extensive damage to that boat, and I know it's been an all-hands-on-deck effort to get that back on the race course. And unfortunately, some gremlins troubled them, but they were going to be ready for Sarasota. That was a really fast turnaround.
Yes.
And Allie, you can speak to that. You know what goes into rigging those boats. I mean, that was a lot of work.
Yeah, especially if you have to make fiberglass repairs and everything like that. It's great at all to see them even back this season.
Yeah, and especially going upside down. Like we saw Team Allen Lawn Care go over down in the south turn. Now, they're in fresh water today.
Yeah.
So they'll get that boat up on the crane and get it dried out, and more than likely it'll be fine for Michigan City.
If we want to talk about Sweetwater, when they actually almost went over twice, so they had even a little bit more.
Yep.
So that attests to
they were overachieving.
Yeah, there we go. A little boat gymnastics.
And but now they went over in saltwater. So aside from the fiberglass damage, the boat being full of sand, the whole 9 yards, also all the electrical components fizzled. And they were running the 860 Mercury motors, not the carbureted Supercat motor. So there's a lot more electronics on that motor than anything else. And it's really awesome to see them back this fast.
Yeah, they did a tremendous amount of work on that to get that thing ready. When I heard they were coming to town, I was just so happy because you see what they bring into town, and it's just one more boat in that class that the fans, not that they don't love any other class, but they seem to gravitate to that one for some reason.
Yep.
And it's great to have them here. It really is. I know they just got a shot of our towboat bringing in the Allen Lawn Care boat. You see, it's flipped over like you were just saying. Though they'll get that thing all dried out. I think they'll be in good shape.
Yeah, it's just a real bummer for Billy Allen and Allen's Lawn Care. They've been putting together a really nice season, and from what I could gather, as it happened off screen for us, that happened right at the start of the race. So I'm interested to see exactly what the details were that went into that.
You know,
Me as well.
you talk about progression in race teams, like from the driver and the throttleman. The team itself, you look at that team, they started out with a boat and a pickup truck. And you go look at their pit today, it's crazy. Merchandise trailers. They got the coolest little tool pit car thing that hauls their gas and whatever around.
Their tool cart is remarkable.
It's crazy.
I saw yesterday, beautifully organized.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, it's they got some pretty cool gear there.
And to your point, Brian, I raced against Billy and his son Andre in their very first boat race.
Did you?
Yep, he ran. Remember, Gary Cook and Rick Katecki ran a boat, PFE, the 26 Velocity.
Yeah.
Well, Billy Allen purchased that from Gary and raced it for a couple of years as Allen's Lawn Care, and I raced against them in Class 6. And then he bought his Phantom, which now became Living Right Team Woody.
Yep.
And I raced against him in Mike Wright's, or now Craig Balfado's Bulletproof.
Right.
I raced against him in that when the Phantom was his. And now to see him all the way up into Superstock, it's just a testament to what the bracket classes do for this sport. They really bring people up through the ranks.
It's also a testament, too, I think, of the desire and the drive of somebody like Bill. I did have the chance to talk to him, and he's just so pro offshore racing. It's just, when it's time to race, it's professional and everything looks right. When it's off race time, he's just as calm and friendly as can be.
Yep.
Yes, very.
So it looks like here they're going to hand off Allen Lawn Care into an easier towboat to get it through the skinny river that we have to tow them back into the crane through.
You were talking about Rick Patecki. I ran into him last night. They're taking a year off to do some work to their boat, but they're racing that boat from Turkey. You want to talk about a weird-looking boat? But I guess that's a big class over there. But they'll be back next year. The Edward J. Painting boat. They're going to make some modifications to the boat. They would just want to take their time with it and do it right.
Yeah, and they have up until this
Very
point.
important.
Yep.
And it's been interesting to see the way they've crossed that over into what we do here. Overseas, those boats all run against each other in a spec scenario where it's wide open. And Rick's adapted it over to our Class 4.
Yep.
And in races like this, he's a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, I see Angel One's up in the air, so we must be getting ready to get started here pretty quick. Looks like they're doing a fly over the course.
So just one more time, Allie, would you like to run through the classes in our fourth and final race of the day?
Yes. So in start 1, we have the largest boats that are going to be on the course, which is number 88 SV Offshore / Sweetwater, and 113 Miss Geico.
Actually, on screen, as they take the green flag, Geico's off to an obvious lead there, running uncontested, but impressive nonetheless.
And outside of Geico, you're going to see MCon from the Super Cat class. And then in start 2, we have the beautiful blue number 7 MTI and number 20 Knucklehead Racing. And in start number 3, we have 211 Batboat, 227 Team Woody, their third entry today, and number V6 Strictly Business.
And as we watch the Cats turn 1 there, Sweetwater SV Racing is running the Mercury 860 motors, and MCon's running the Super Cat engines. It'll be interesting to see how they match up to in that class of been carrying the 860.
So, in our factory stock, the number 7. Taylor's boat, another young up and coming. This was the one I misrepresented earlier, but coming young lady.
Yes, as like I said before, every year more young into racing, and it's really awesome to see.
And there's on screen at MCON. And again, see that rooster tail it's carrying their accelerated drop to perfect attitude, and it's just a boat to watch run backstretch here. And we have a green flag in the second start.
And that's Bullhead Racing and that MTI.
Oh, it sounds so awesome. Go in.
Two both did battle not too long ago at a shootout on the river at Tiki Lee's.
Yes.
And it was cool to watch them duke it out for, Top Gun. And here we have third start with 211 Batman, Living Right, Team Woody, and Strictly Business. This is going to be a good battle to watch.
Yep. Yeah, the 227 Team Woody. I've seen that boat race before with previous owners. That is, it's an awesome boat.
That's a fast boat. And here we have the fastest boat of the day, Miss Geico.
That's
perfectly aired out.
Yep, with Steve Curtis and Britt Lilly. Britt Lilly, who took the unofficial second place in our Pro Stock B class in Team LSB. So he's getting 2 races under his belt today, just like your brother.
How hard is that? You know, going from one boat to the other. I mean, you get the heck beat out of you one race, and then you got to go jump in another one, do it all over again.
Well, at a race like this, it's not too bad, but in the
I can imagine.
We have number 80 Water on our screen right now. They are running against Miss Geico today.
Yep, Geico beautifully apexing turn 1 and accelerating off. That is just a magnet run as it comes down the Canada side of the course, just outside the Strictly Business in Class 2, and I don't see the other competitor Class 2 to give you reference.
Yes.
Yep. Is out in front with Team Woody, Living Right in second.
Gator coming through, Knuckleheads Racing coming through the south. Hometown heroes there, Ed Smith and Anthony Smith.
We have coming out of the barn.
There is Knuckleheads Racing. There's an interesting difference in Knuckleheads than most is that side. If you see that water and the spray coming out the side of the boat, the exhaust pipes actually face out here on land, and it produces one of the coolest sounds at all of offshore.
Right there, you can hear it. Great time.
I think that's Ed's favorite sound in life. I really do.
I don't blame.
Mostly by the Marine Technologies and Catamaran entry into 50 ROS. And, I don't know who's in the boat with Taylor today. Chisholm, or is it?
It's John
Is
Tomlin.
JT here?
Yeah.
So she's in the boat with JT today. She's had a kind of a revolving door of throttle this season, and had an opportunity to learn from some best.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a great opportunity for her to pick up that knowledge because there's so much experience.
Yeah, and everybody has something different to share.
Here's hashtag Living Right Team getting the bat boat.
The bat boat is running flawlessly today.
Zooming in on Team Woody, Living Right, who's second now.
And I got to tell you, on a hell of a show today. That boat, it seems to be hooked up. I mean, there's nothing to give a comparison. No other boats are in his class today, but it looks fast. If I had a Super Cat and I was sitting at home, I'd be scratching my head right now, worried about Michigan City.
I'd be scratching my head wondering why I wasn't.
Yeah, there you go.
Right?
And there's number 7, Marine Technology and MTI. That's Taylor Tomlinson coming down the backstretch, looking at MCOM making their way out of 2. Carrying a big tail trying to get this rolling down that back. There's a beautiful shot of Knuckleheads Racing.
Right over.
And that is a 40-foot fountain powerboat powered by Sterling Race engines.
Oh, Reggie would be so proud.
I'm sure he is, and he's watching wherever he is.
I'm sure he is.
The king of speed.
Team Woody living right on our screen, still sitting in second place.
And now that's a second place that seems maybe a bit questionable because in just a few short laps, he's been able to stretch about a half a straightaway lead on the right team, which seems to a story of they forgot to plug that GPS.
Yeah, this class is also GPS monitored. The Batboat, Team Woody, and Strix will all have to do race to determine results, just like the 7 and 5 boats earlier today.
As well as 4. And their entry is 100 miles an hour. And the reason it was 100 shift in the class 4, we had to make that 100.
Much more safer that way, too.
If you're in class 2, that's the Batboat. As you can really see that paint job there in the sun. Gorgeous. And it really, with the kids, you see Elliot handling the kids and everything like it. See.
Probably one of the most in offshore racing.
Yep.
It's all hand painted. Sweetwater boat, boy, that's an outer limits, I believe.
It is.
It's up to it.
And about a minute and the sound that comes by.
As they pass on the outside of Team Woody.
Now the interesting about that Sweetwater boat is the tone that the Mercury have. A very cool, high RPM super cat. And it's interesting the difference of how they react to the past M-Cons today.
Yep.
Team Knucklehead on our screen right now, followed by the MT number 7 and the 4. That boat just beautiful.
Oh, like I was saying earlier, there looks awesome.
They are heading into the bottom turn as we see Strictly Business coming across our screen right now. They're running in 3rd place in Class 2. MCon still running a strong race, putting on a show for everybody here today. And Geico is passing on the outside of Instigator.
So what speed do you think Geico's hit today on the back side, the backstretch?
If they're giving it all it's got, that boat's capable of 150 plus on the backstretch today.
Plus, that's the optimum word there.
Yeah, the question is how much plus.
Right.
I know those boats run, in the 140s. On a day like today, they could pull into 150, 155.
Sure.
But I would imagine as they went by Instigator there, Britt Lilly gave a little back to Anthony as he went by for the damage he did in Pro Stock this morning.
MCon.
This looks beautiful.
Yes, coming past the start-finish boat.
MCon, formerly known as AMH Construction, if you followed the bright orange boat the last couple of years, MCon bought it, waiting on their new one, and they're campaigning it flawlessly this year.
The Batboat, who's sitting still in 1st place in Class 2. And there's the beautiful Miss Geico with, again, Britt Lilly and Steve Curtis. As Sweetwater enters our screen, who is running also in the class with Miss Geico in 2nd place.
So I got a quick little story about the Sweetwater boat. I needed to get a hold of the driver. I knew he had the accent. I'm all for it. It's all in French. I had no idea what even, right? His voicemail. I'm thinking, did he say leave a message or What? Great bunch of guys.
There's the beautiful Heaven Right team. Woody still running in second place, winning lead over Strictly Business.
See Miss Geico just floored past though.
And coming past us here again is Knucklehead Racing, and God, just the coolest
Great
sound.
shot. MCon coming around turn, heading back up stretch. And Sweetwater with the back stretch of the course up towards turn 3 and 4. The Bat Boat still currently sitting in first place for Class 2, followed by Team Woody and Strictly Business.
So coming up is Michigan City. Tell us a little bit about what you're expecting up there.
Upcoming next week?
Yes.
Next week in Michigan City, it's going to be the second time OPA comes there, and we were blown away with the first time around. The street party, the venue itself, the casino there that puts on all the events for us throughout the week. It is just an unbelievable place to race. And I know it's on a lot of teams' schedule. I know we're going to have a big boat count there next week, and it's going to be the 5th stop of the championship series. And it's starting to come down to the wire. There's a lot of teams really tight in points and a lot of money on the line there, and I think you're gonna a lot of competitive tight racing. And the interesting thing about Michigan City, as opposed to the lake here in St. Clair, is it can be ocean-style waves there.
Yes.
In a couple years ago there, I believe 3 years ago in 2018, there was footage from where it was bigger.
Yeah.
But you could lucky and have a day like you see today. So it's an interesting place, a phenomenal venue, awesome fans.
Yeah, like that the lake conditions are different than the river. I was there. We couldn't race at all. They canceled the whole thing. I mean, there was like 10 waves out there.
Yeah.
And no rain, just a lot of waves and wind. And it is what it is. The safety's obviously paramount for, but it is the best of the guys headed up there.
Not the St. Clair by Magna. Right now we have hashtag Living Right Team Woody still running in second place over Strictly Business. And Knuckleheads Racing maintaining first place, putting on the show for the hometown nonetheless.
Team MCon as well, doing the same, putting on a great show. Miss Geico, who is running in first right now in their class. It looks like they're actually catching up to the Sweetwater boat, who is currently in second.
There on screen is Taylor Shisham's entry with Marine Technologies Incorporated. And boat's really come along nicely throughout the season. She's really getting her legs under her, and the boat seems to run better and better, faster and faster every time out. And it's great to see the evolution in the sport.
You can see Miss Geico coming up behind that Sweetwater boat. Miss Geico is still in first with Sweetwater in second.
And as we pan to the Sweetwater boat coming up the front stretch here, I think you're going to see Miss Geico overtake it by the end of this straightaway. And it's interesting to see the difference in those boats. I mean, that's a Outer Limits powered by Mercury 860 engines. And this is a Victory powered by Mercury 11. Very similar size boats, just very different makeup in the hulls.
The Bat Boat, who's still in first place for Class 2, followed by Team Woody, who we just caught a glimpse of coming out of the turn there.
So the station night will be about 7:30. We're going to go right out on the state, the main road. So
Make
if
sure
there's
you guys
anybody,
do that.
yeah, yep. Anybody local watching, come on, check it out.
Yeah, and you can, the coolest thing, how personable it is. You got the awards and meet the drivers and cheer on your favorite teams, and they'd be happy to sign autographs and take pictures with you, and it's great stuff. If I have fans here in St. Clair that I go that were little kids then that now have boats and boat race and want me to drive it with them, and it's crazy the connections you make over the years.
You ever get calls at your shop? Folks up here?
Absolutely, all the time.
Yep.
About taking over the Sweetwater boat. In fact, did a whole more lap than Sweetwater in first place. Still,
I've yet to see a checkered flag. The MCON idle down the center of the course.
they decided to just cut down their laps for today since they were running uncontested. You never know.
More than likely, they're coming up in 5 days.
Yep.
So good in safety equipment here in St. Clair.
Great practice. You can. The more time in the boat, the better.
Yeah, and the best way to test is here on race course.
Yeah, there's
Sure.
you
When
can't compare.
That, and you have full safety, so you're covered that way. It's a little sketchy to test at home on the home rivers, so it was a good day for MCON.
You know, Nick, you were talking earlier about the lifespan of some motors being 1,000 recreationally. What's that turn into when you put one on one of these bad boys?
Oh, I'd say it cuts it down significantly. But, you're going to have that. Any type of high-performance engine, power plant, anything, when you do what we do with them, things happen. Parts break.
Sure.
Castings are bad upon installation. I mean, there's a million reasons for something to come apart. And I got to say that Mercury's power plants that they have in this sport, whether it be the 450, the 300 XS, basically all of Class 7, they really have a stronghold in the high-performance engines.
That's great to hear.
Entering the screen now is 211 Batman, leading the way in Class 2, completing the last few laps of his day.
On our screen, Team Woody in second place in Class 2, behind the Bat Boat.
Important to note that they're racing for Sabrina, a team member of the Bronx Phantom
Yes.
team, and I believe she's fighting her way through cancer right now.
Yes, I
and
believe so. And the Bronx Phantom team is to focus on family and take some time for them. And so Team Woody is in their hearts and throughout this race season.
yeah, and you could see that sticker displayed on the boat, and
Yeah.
very good to see, and a lot of love.
That
amongst
just
these
is
teams.
another example as to how close boat, like a family it is. One team wasn't able to make it this year, and there's still people here supporting them through everything.
Absolutely.
Look at the water conditions have changed in the last 15 minutes. It's
Yeah,
just
these guys
Yes.
got lucky, huh?
Yes.
Here you see hashtag Living Right Team Woody coming up the front stretch, still in second place, followed by Strictly Business in third, as they're about to get overtaken here by Miss Geico. And you can, as you will come up the front stretch, look at the thrust behind those propellers. I mean, that boat just screams.
Talk about laying you back in your seat.
And putting it into perspective, like we were saying, Team Woody's bracket speed is 100 miles per hour. And so we could see Miss Geico passing alongside of them, and that really puts into perspective the speed of Miss Geico.
Yeah, it's a very impressive boat. And earlier we were talking about the difficulty of doing some double duties. I don't think I feel bad for Britt today.
No.
Nah, me neither.
Britt Lilly, the driver of the LSB Hurricane Awesome,
He's
is
got
now.
to be in one of the best boats you can be in.
Now he's in. We don't feel bad about that double.
Yeah.
Knuckleheads Instigator coming down the backstretch. We'd like to thank Magna for sponsoring 21 St.
Title sponsor. In Westrick. Don Skip Murray, the Voyager, right here. Another fantastic place. We'd like to thank them for giving our production staff the side room to use. Coghlan Jewelers. We're going to be presenting the trophies later this afternoon. Those are all donated by Coghlan.
I'm excited to see how those trophies turned out.
Oh, they're so cool. Thor Printing Services, they did all of our printing for everything we needed.
They did. They actually did that wrap that's on screen right now.
What's that?
They actually wrapped the boat that's on screen
yes,
right
I
now.
Believe so. I believe so. West Haven Builders for building our new race control, Plains LPG, and then kudos to 5 of the best sponsors in the world for bringing the 3 of us here today. Foster Oil, Murphy's Inn, Rivers Bend, Sensation, and Warwater. Without their support, we wouldn't be here. We're looking forward to coming out here again next year. As we wind things down here, we're going to watch the last couple of laps and see how things shake out.
Special thank you from me to those live stream sponsors for giving me the best seat in the house today.
Yes,
Get to
me
share
too.
it with some great company.
Some of the greatest opportunities getting to announce for you guys.
Well, I appreciate the 2 of you coming down. It's been a pleasure to work with you here today. I've learned a lot, and that's always the thing. You know, I try to learn something new every day, and today was like a month's worth of knowledge.
We got you ahead of the game.
Right.
And here we have an interesting shot where you have Marine Technologies Incorporated running up the inside of the second place #Living Right Team Woody with, I believe Geico should be coming into frame at any time on the outside. That was a bit of a cluster down into the south turn.
We have still yet to see a checkered flag for any class in this race today. So we should be working our last few laps to wrap up our day of racing. Team Sweetwater going on the outside of Team Woody in the MTI number 7.
3 amazing boats there. I mean, if you look at that shot, I mean, if you could imagine when Taylor gets some competition in that class, when Sweetwater gets their program together and some V's come out and challenge some of these dominant fountains like #Living Right Team Woody and Strictly Business. You know, I do know of this purple fountain that hangs out in New Jersey.
Ah, really?
That hasn't been around in a few races, and it might be getting the itch.
They need an extra truck.
I think so.
To pull it.
And in screen now is Knuckleheads Racing just running absolutely flawlessly. Evil Ed Smith and Anthony Smith just putting on a show today. And I know anybody watching this at home, they would love some competition. Bring it on. I have talked at length with Ed about an open challenge. Anybody with a big V bottom, come run it, man. See what you got against the baddest V in the sea.
Geico just blasted by so fast the camera couldn't keep up with it.
And there you have at 211, that's Bat Boat, and they're still leading the way in Class 2. Sweetwater makes their way around the course here. It seems to be slowing down a little bit, maybe turning into the center of the course. I don't know if they completed all their laps or if they're having an issue there.
They definitely come down off plane, that's for sure.
There's the number 7, Marine Technologies Incorporated, MTI, Taylor Chisholm and Johnny Tomlinson going into the south turn.
Out of shot here right now, but it does look like Team Sweetwater got back up on plane.
And on the backstretch, you have Knuckleheads and Geico going at it down the backstretch. I can tell you right now that Anthony is not trying to let Britt get in front of him again. But I think Instigator's a bit outmatched as Geico gets its legs under it. 2 boats capable of 130 plus miles an hour.
Sure.
There's a good shot there as Taylor Chisholm and Johnny Tomlinson coming up the front stretch and Marine Technology Incorporated. Just a gorgeous boat, and really an advanced safety cell in that boat. A very, very safe product by Randy Chisholm at MTI. And coupled with Mercury Racing 450Rs, just a phenomenal package.
We just saw Team Sweetwater and Geico in the same shot there. Here again, you see they're back up on plane. As going up, they seem to be turning in. As we hear Team Woody passing the start-finish boat, still running in second place in Class 2.
I hadn't seen the monitors. They are really good, aren't they?
And you could see as you look up the course there, or even in this shot here of Geico, you could see how choppy the river's gotten again. It can change at the drop of a hat, ladies and gentlemen. It's pretty wild how much the wind here really affects this race course. As Geico takes the checkered flag on their last lap, I believe I just saw.
Yes, I did see the checkered flag, and the checkered flag for Knucklehead as well.
So in our last race of the day, we have Class 2 finishing up their laps with Batman leading the way, hashtag Living Right Team Woody in second, Strictly Business in third.
And the Marine Technology boat is also finishing up their last lap.
In first place. So congratulations to Taylor and Johnny for another beautiful performance.
It does look like Class 2 has one more lap to go, as they didn't get the checkered flag as they passed the start-finish boat.
And here you see Luigi Contieri and Johnny Stanchion, Strictly Business, two true consummate professionals and veterans in this sport. And it's so good to see them back. We missed them the last couple of races. And they're going to be coming up here to get their checkered flag eventually and finish up in what seems to be third place.
As always, the results that we announce on here are unofficial. The official results will be posted on OPA's Facebook.
Coming down the backstretch, hashtag Living Right Team Woody.
Yeah, we're inviting everybody to go out, like us on Facebook, Blue Water Offshore Racing. Check out our website. We just launched bluewateroffshore.com.
Yeah, don't forget to check out Nick's Offshore Live podcast and our YouTube channel, The Outer Paps. We greatly appreciate it. And if you love the sport, there's definitely some more info and footage to watch outside of racing.
And if you want to follow the rest of the series here, we're going in 5 days. We'll be in Michigan City. You can follow the OPA Racing Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, however you get your social media, and keep in touch and follow the series and follow your favorite teams. And a lot of them have Facebooks and Instagrams, and throw them a like and a share and let everybody know who you support and who you're in for. Don't be a bandwagon hopper.
Oh, I know. I got to figure out all this technology. I don't understand the whole hashtag me or like this, but we'll get there.
And here we go up the front stretch. We got Knucklehead, number 20, the 40 Fountain, and that thing is just on fire today.
We also just saw off screen the MTI number 7 took their checkered flag.
Temperatures dropped about 20 degrees out here, I think, in the last 15 minutes.
Good horsepower weather.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And on screen there, you have a 40 Fountain overtaking a 35 Fountain. Actually, it seems that Instigator slowed a little bit, hanging behind hashtag Living Right Team Woody. They might be done with their laps.
I do believe Knucklehead has took their checkered flag. Yep, you can see them pulling onto the inside of the course. Team Woody has not yet. The checkered flag is waving for the Bat boat, so that is an unofficial first place for them. And we are just waiting for Strictly Business and Livin' Right Racing to take their checkered flag for unofficial second and third place.
And also on the backstretch here, you could still see the 39 MTI, Taylor Chisholm, Johnny Tomlinson putting on a hell of a show for the Canadian fans over there. I'm sure they appreciate it, as they weren't able to come over and attend the event as usual. But I'm sure they appreciate that. And also coming down the backstretch is Strictly Business.
I could see the fans over there from here.
It's hilarious. They actually renamed the race the Courtright races over there.
That's cool. We can share.
Sure.
There we go. Nice shot of the gorgeous MTI taking their victory lap, you could say, as they've already taken their checkered flag.
Here comes hashtag Living Right Team Woody down the backstretch, I believe completing their last lap. Number 7, MTI, Marine Technologies Incorporated, Taylor Shisholm, Johnny Tomlinson. There's hashtag Living Right Team Woody, Chad Woody, and Billy Shipley. And in third place, there's Louis G. Contieri and Johnny Stanch. In Strictly Business, another 35 fountain. Both of those are 35 fountains.
You know, it's been great to see Louis come back out. I know he's been battling some issues himself, and for him to be out here today, it's a fantastic thing. He's got a lot of fans up this way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you're not a fan of Strictly Business, there's something wrong with you.
Right.
Just a beautiful boat. Been around on this circuit for years. I've had the pleasure of racing against them for 3 years, and my father and my brother for probably 15 over that.
Right.
And just fierce, phenomenal, respectable sportsmen that run hard every time out. And kudos to Chad Woody and Billy Shipley for getting second place over them today. It shows how far they've come in this short amount of time in their new boat.
Definitely. As we see them getting their checkered flag right now, we're going to get a nice view. And there it is. They've officially...
Second place.
Yep.
But I think those boys are having a little too much fun as they're going to go try and chase Louie and Johnny down again.
Can never get enough of these racing.
Right, I hear you. Well, I think that's just about going to wrap it up for today.
Yeah, I think...
I got to say thanks on behalf of myself and Blue Water Offshore. Thank you guys for coming up and sharing your day with us.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for letting me be a part of this. To all our fans out there that are watching, thank you for supporting us. And thank you for watching today. I know at one point we had 750, 800 people watching at one time. Thank you for supporting us. This is going to bring us to the end of the 2021 St. Clair River Classic presented by Magna.
And on behalf of the Offshore Powerboat Association, we'd like to thank Blue Water Offshore for organizing a phenomenal event here in St. Clair. You said it was the 27th year?
Yes.
Phenomenal, man. I can't wait to be here for 30 and 50. And
I got to figure out what we're going to do for 30. It's got to be something big.
Got to be something big.
And
thank
you to the city of St. Clair, all the fans, the businesses, everybody here that made this happen or attended. Thank you so much. We enjoy coming here so much. The racers will be back. We'll be back. Great to see you. In 2022, we're bringing more boats.
I hear you.
We see Miss Geico taking their checkered flag up the seawall for the fans. That looks like driver Britt Lilly holding the checkered flag and waving to all the people on shore. They had a great run out there today.
All right, looks like they're wrapping us up today. Final thoughts there?
For me,
You're up.
congratulations to all 61 teams that took the water today,
Yes.
especially the Clash of the Titans, man. It was so good to see those boats out on a race course one more time. From Nick Smith, Allie, Pat, and Brian, thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you so much.
Take care.